Right now, I'm really excited to welcome back the legend, Oliver Mtukudzi. Welcome back to Nairobi.
Thank you very much.
We love you very much in Kenya.
Oh, likewise, I do love you too.
And this time you're performing in Kisumu.
Yes.
I'm sure it's going to be an amazing, amazing show.
I'm sure it will be because it's my first time to be in Kisumu. And
that is very close to my village.
Is it?
Yes.
I hope your village comes to the show to experience this history making, because that's my first time to be in Kisumu.
Yes, absolutely. You go around performing all over the world. Do you have moments when you think you want to take some time off and just sit at home and enjoy not performing?
Well, I'm an African, and as Africans, we don't do holidays. So, well, and the other fact is I can't run away from myself. I have to do what I have to do. And I don't think I'll have the time to set aside what I do.
Will you ever retire?
I can't run away from myself. That's impossible.
You know, there's times when people, performers, artists, generally, people who feel, I think I have done my work, it's been 20, 30 years, I can now go in my rural home and never come out again. Yeah,
I'll give an example. Mama Makeba announced about 3 times that now I'm retiring, and the very next day you hear she's in Italy, she's performing.
Yes.
And she actually died
on the stage.
Off the stage, you see. So you can't run away from yourself.
Have you loved the process of making music and performing to diverse audiences, but also seeing how music has evolved over this time?
Well, yes, I've seen the music change, and change for the better. And I've seen music changing, running away from ourselves.
What do you mean?
I mean, we're getting copycats. People who sound like so-and-so, and they don't do who they are.
But with technology now, you don't really need to be a fantastic singer. The rest of that can be fixed with auto-tune. The computer can make your voice sound nicer, add instruments, and things like those.
Well, it's not good for the artists. You have to be good enough without the flavor of a computer. Singing is supposed to be good. Go out there in the rural areas where there are no computers. You find people singing beautifully there. Now, if you're not a good singer, why don't you identify yourself and do what you can do best?
It is very rare now to find people like what you just did back there, with just you and the guitar making beautiful music. How it's almost become extinct now because people need accompaniments, people need all of these bells and whistles to create music.
I think the problem is a lot of youngsters today do music for the wrong reason. I don't think they understand the purpose of song. That's why they think if they get some brains from Germany and loop that brain and call it my song. But it's not it.
It is very interesting you said that, because a few weeks ago we had Hugh Masekela sit where you're sitting, and he said the exact same thing about having authentic music, which is actually something you created as opposed to what a computer came up with.
It's true. What our youngsters don't realize is that when they loop music from, it was a brain of one person. And if all of you use that brain, you're all going to sound the same. Because I've had youngsters doing what they call dance music.
Yes.
But it's a loop of a program of some sort.
And it's very repetitive.
And I come here in Kenya, I hear the same thing. Play them all, you never can tell, you can't tell which one is from Kenya, which one is from Zimbabwe. It all sounds the same. It's just the language they put on top, but you can't identify the artist.
The last time you were on the show, we talked about this. I wonder if when you were coming up, it was of a different age. There was no pressure to put out pop music, to be chart toppers, to bring out a certain sound which the masses will identify with. Do you think if you were coming up in this generation, the kind of music you put out would be very different?
I'm afraid I'll be doing what these youngsters are doing. I wouldn't think otherwise. I would be doing that. But what I'm saying is, it's no good for us. It's no good for our tomorrow. The world out there is looking for Kenyan music right now.
Yes.
And they don't get the Kenyan music. They're getting music like that sounds like Zimbabwean, sounds like Nigerian, you know. But where is Kenya? You see? So we are killing ourselves by not playing Kalindula.
What was the meaning of the song you just played back there? Was it Fikimba?
Fimbika.
Fimbika. Yes.
Fimbika is a song that talks about responsibility of youngsters are fighting to get rich fast. That's why I'm sure that's the reason why they loop the music to get popular fast.
Overnight success.
But Fimbika is saying you can't be rich in one day. It's not because you get a lot of money to be rich, no, but it's how you use the little you get. That's Fimbika.
If you were to advise young people who are coming up, not just musicians, but generally, what do you tell them? Because I'm sure you get lots of opportunities to do that.
Well, I would tell youngsters today that they should be proud of who they are. There is no culture inferior to the other. We are just unique. So they should be proud of who they are, and whatever they do, they should do it to complement or to promote who they are more than what they want to be.
The counter-argument often is it's now a globalized culture, and maybe the different distinct African or Asian are getting stolen or are coming into this one globalized culture. Is that possible even? So that you don't necessarily have to stand out as an African when...
It's not supposed to be happening, but that's what it is right now. You know, being Kenyan is not inferior at all. And I'm afraid our media doesn't promote who we are. It promotes what they see on other TV stations, which is wrong. Why not promote who we are and complement? Because here on earth, we are just here not to compete, but to complement each other.
What would you like the media, the African media especially, to show more of?
For ourselves. Show us who is Kenya. What is a Kenyan person? Yeah. What's Kenyan art? If our media could promote such things more than... Because I tell you, most of the radio stations, don't take it personal.
I will not take it personally.
Yeah, most of them, they can tell you what Beyonce has eaten last night.
Yes.
They can tell you whether she's pregnant or not. But a local artist, they need somebody, they need to go somewhere and look out. They don't have any profile of a local artist. So you find on radio they're being spoken about alien artists. That it has nothing to do with us, which means media is part of to blame, because it's pushing these things into our children instead of showing them that they're not inferior at all.
Hold that thought for a moment. I want to go to social media and see what they're saying about you and the performance. Kristen Mahema is here. Kristen, what are they saying?
Yeah, they're loving it.
Absolutely.
Kevo Nara says, glad and happy to see a musical legend on the show. Thumbs up, Larry.
Yes, an absolute musical legend. Yes.
Definitely. And as usual, second service is always 100.
103 times and then 2 fire emojis.
Yes,
We'd
all
love
that
it.
and more. Yes, moving on. Solis says, talk about talent, discipline, and consistency. My favorite song is Mabasa, hashtag Oliver Mtukudzi.
Mabasa, okay.
Yes. And Aluda Cyprian saying, Oliver is my dad's favorite, and through my dad, I love his music too. It cuts along the whole generation.
Look at that.
Indeed,
You were his dad's
does.
favorite, and then also now his favorite as a result. So it's 2 different generations.
Sure.
How do you achieve what the other person talked about, talent, discipline, and consistency? How do you achieve that?
By being who I am. I don't have any competition, because I am me. There's no better Oliver Mtukudzi than me. So if I don't do me, the whole world has lost me.
That is hard. That is easier to say than to do, especially in a world that tells you and judges you constantly and tells you, no, you should be like Beyonce, for instance, or you should be like this person.
That's what I'm saying. As media, we're supposed to promote who that boy is more than promoting Beyonce. They say that because Beyonce is being promoted more in his own motherland.
What have you learned about music in the many years you have been performing and singing and creating?
I've learned to believe that purpose of song is to give life and hope, to heal the broken hearts. And if I come up with a song, it's supposed to touch a heart, not to impress. I don't do good compositions, but I do good songs.
Do you have a favorite of your songs?
If one of my songs is not my favorite, you'll never get to hear it. Why record when it doesn't satisfy me?
So everything you have recorded, you love it.
I love it.
Then how do you decide which ones are you going to perform at a show and which ones we want? Because it's like picking your favorite children.
That's a difficult one. That's a difficult one. All I do in most cases in festivals and shows, times they ask for a set list.
Yes.
What are you going to play today?
Yes.
And I can't do that because I don't know the mood of the day. All I do is think of the first song, that's all. Then the atmosphere will let me know which route to take. Which
The rest
song
will
to
all just fall
into place.
That is-
Depending with the mood of the day.
Yes. Absolutely. I think one of your your most popular songs in Kenya has got to be Todi. It became extremely popular because it was used by a Kenyan company. And even when we played, it's like, oh, that guy.
Okay.
Do you feel sometimes that you've performed the song so much that you can't perform it anymore?
No, when I perform, I'm not performing for myself. What the demand is what I play, because I wrote the song for them.
Yes.
So if they ask for it, I have to play it.
Fantastic. Sir, it's always a pleasure having you come to speak to us.
No, thank you very much.
We hope you have a great show in Kisumu.